If you're a woman over 50 thinking about downsizing, right-sizing, buying solo, or just selling after a life change, you're probably wondering, is this a terrible time or is it the right time? You know, the headlines make it sound like the sky is falling. But here's the truth. The market isn't all doom and gloom. In fact, this fall might be your sweet spot. Calmer prices, more inventory, and sellers ready to negotiate. Stick with me. I'll show you what's really happening in the Denver market, how it impacts you, and the steps you can actually control. Now, nationally, the Fed just made its first rate cut since 2024, lowering the benchmark federal funds rate to 4 to 4.25%. Here's the twist. Mortgage rates didn't initially drop. In fact, they ticked up about an 8 to 1/4% right after. Why? Well, because the Fed doesn't directly set mortgage rates. Think of it this way. The Fed controls the cost of money banks borrow from each other overnight, and mortgage rates respond more like a dance partner who's just a little off rhythm. You know, they usually move in the same direction, but not always on the same beat. Now, this cut was what the economists called a risk management cut. You know, the Fed saw job growth slowing and they wanted to get ahead of it, not wait for a full-blown problem. Now, the markets like that move, so we saw a little dip in mortgage rates right before this cut into the low sixes, a far cry from the sevens that we saw earlier. And buyers noticed loan applications are up 23% compared to this time last year. And that's not just a statistic, that's buyers jumping back into the market, which means if you're selling, you might see more foot traffic. And if you're buying, you've got more company in the aisles, but still plenty of homes to choose from. Now let's zoom in on the Denver market because national headlines only go so far if you're trying to buy or sell here in the Denver metro area. A quick reminder, when we talk about market stats, we're always looking in the rearview mirror. It's September now, but the most complete data we have is from August. And that's not just a bug in the system, it's how real estate reporting works. Think of real estate data like your Excel bill. You don't see what you're using today, you got the statement from last month. So here's what August looked like according to the South Metro Denver Realtor Association. Now, median sale price was $589,995, basically flat, just up 5.5% from last year. Active listings sit at 12,237, a steady pool of homes giving buyers some breathing room. And closings were 3,346, down 5.2% year over year, so buyers are being cautious. Days on market were 32, about 10 days longer than last year, which means homes are sitting a little bit longer. And the months of supply is about a little over 3 months, far calmer than the frenzy of 2021, but not a full buyer's market either. So what does this mean if you're a woman over 50 navigating a move solo? Well, it means leverage, but not unlimited power. Buyers today have more homes to choose from, and they've got time to think it over. And for the sellers, it means you just can't toss a sign in the yard and expect a bidding war. Prep, pricing, and presentation are everything right now. Here's the kicker. More than 60% of the homes that closed in August included seller concessions. That's credits for closing costs, repairs, or even rate buydowns. That's not just data. That's a signal that negotiation is alive and well in our Denver real estate market. And for you, whether you're buying or selling, that's good news. It means there's room to work out a deal that works. But let's pull back the curtain and talk about what's really happening under the surface, because it's not a one-size-fits-all. So let's start with the builders. You know, as usual, in the Denver metro area, not every builder or every neighborhood is in the same boat. But when some of them are carrying heavier inventory, I can always tell. Suddenly I get those glossy mailers and the emails, kind of like a date showing up at my door with flowers before the dance. Translation? They're offering incentives. Maybe it's a rate buy down. Maybe it's an upgraded appliance package. Maybe it's both. But here's the fine print. Many of those perks are tied to using their lender instead of your own. So yes, the flowers look pretty, but sometimes they come with thorns. That's why it's important to run the full math before you get swept off your feet. Now, inventory is stable, but it depends on what you're shopping for. We're holding steady at just over 12,000 homes on the market. But that headline hides the details. Condos and townhomes? Well, inventory is higher there, which means buyers can negotiate harder. But single-family homes are tighter, and in some neighborhoods, they're holding strong. Take Windsor Gardens, a 55-plus active community. You'll find some phenomenal deals right now. But looking at the brownstones and Highlands Ranch, yeah, those values are still standing firm. So the real question isn't what's the Denver market doing? It's what's your neighborhood or community doing? And that's where the opportunities will pop up. If you're selling, looks and price still matter. Buyers today have choices, and they're getting picky. Homes that smell like last year's casserole or are photographed like they're in a dungeon, yeah, they're sitting. Homes that are clean, decluttered, staged, and priced where today's buyers are shopping, well, those are the ones that are moving. So let's be clear. Today's buyers are not paying 2021 prices. Back then, each sale felt like a new record for the next. That was yesterday's market. This one is slower, more balanced, and requires you to meet the buyers where they are. Here's the bottom line. Deals are still getting done. You know, sellers and buyers are finding common ground. around, whether it's through a little help with closing costs, a repair budget, or creative incentive. And the truth is, success in this market isn't about digging in your heels, it's about flexibility and strategy. But here's the thing, even with deals getting done, the market has its seasons, and fall isn't just about pumpkins and Bronco football. It changes how buyers and sellers behave. So before you make your next move, let's talk about how the calendar can work for you. So fall in Denver isn't just about the pumpkin spice and the weekend drives to see the aspens turn gold. It's also the season when the housing market shifts gears. Here's what usually happens. Foot traffic slows. Buyers are busy with school, weekend sports, and planning for the holidays. Decision making gets cautious. Instead of rushing to make an offer, buyers start wondering if they should wait until after the holidays. Sellers get motivated. If your home is on the market right now, you're probably hoping to wrap things up before that turkey hits the oven. And this year, the recent Fed's cut could give us that short burst of energy before the seasonal slowdown starts in. So think of it like this, catching one last warm fall hike on Kenosha Pass before the snow flies. You know it won't last long. So what does this mean for you? The message is clear. Homes that win right now are the ones that are well prepped, realistically priced, and flexible in negotiations. This is your moment to stand out while buyers are still active. And if you're buying, the advantage is choice. You don't have to rush, you don't have to settle. Whether it's builder incentives or seller concessions, there are real ways to make the numbers work for everyone. Because this is often when you can negotiate from a calmer place. Fewer people competing and more sellers willing to talk. And since timing is such a big piece of this puzzle, I want you to have more than just today's update. Remember when we started, you were wondering, is this a terrible time or is this the right time to make your move? Part of that confusion comes from the headlines about the Fed cutting the rates while mortgage rates actually ticked up right after. No wonder it feels like mixed signals. That's exactly why I put together a one-page fall rate timing guide, fact versus fiction. My fall rate timing guide cuts through the noise and helps you see if waiting is really saving you money or quietly costing you. It's short, simple, and designed to help you make a decision that fits your life, not the headlines. You can download it for free using the link below. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Peggy Durstoff, a realtor with Live Denver Suburbs, powered by HomeSmart. Now, if all this feels like a lot to juggle, I've got you covered. I put together a playlist called Solo Seller Roadmap. It's designed to walk you through step by step what to do, what not to do, and how to keep your sanity along the way. You'll find the link below this video. Grab a cup of coffee, click play, and let's make sure you head into this next chapter with clarity and confidence. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.